Okay, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala Rasul Kareem. We're discussing this verse. وَاتْلُ عَلَيْنَا بَأَلَّذِي آتَيْنَا وَآيَاتِنَا فَانْسَلَخَ مِنْهَا فَأَتْبَعَهُ الشَّيْطَانُ فَكَانَ مِنَ الْغَاوِينَ. And recited in the story of one of whom we have given our verses. Then he regaled himself from them so that Satan overtook him and he became one of the perverted, right? So briefly, this was a person, a pious person from the previous ummahs. Allah Ta'ala had blessed him with knowledge, etc., etc. But unfortunately, he overrated himself. He had too much confidence in himself. As a result of that, he slipped and he made a mistake. So I was telling you that the most authentic riwayat suggests that the first person's name was Balam bin Ba'ura. This event belongs to the period after the death of Pharaoh and his people and the victory of the Israelites over Egypt. So this referred to after Allah Ta'ala delivered the Jews, the Bani Israel, from the tyranny of the Fir'aun. Remember, this was when they crossed the ocean successfully. The Allah Ta'ala drowned Fir'aun, etc., etc. Right? So, so remember, and then Allah Ta'ala destroyed them. So then they had their peace and prosperity, etc. So this event belongs to the period after the death of the Pharaoh and his people and the victory of the Israelites over Egypt. Allah Ta'ala commanded the Prophet Musa and his people to fight war against the Jabbarin. And also there comes in the seventh para, sixth para, where Allah Ta'ala said they must go and fight the Jabbarin. Remember, they said, إِنَّا لَن نَدْخُلَهَا حَتَّى يَخْرُجُوا مِنْهَا فَيَخْرُجُوا مِنْهَا فَإِنَّا دَاخِلُونَ. اذهب أنت وربك فقاتلا. You and your Rabb go and fight. We're not going to fight these people. Remember the same incident, right? So this then belongs to a bit after the death of Pharaoh and his people and the victory of the Israelites over Egypt. Allah Ta'ala commanded the Prophet Musa and his people to fight a war against the a people called the Jabbarin. Now the Jabbarin, who had seen the fight of Pharaoh and his people, were greatly frightened when they saw the army of Musa approach them. They came to Balaam and said that the Prophet Musa was a strong man and that he'd come with a great army in order to expel them from the land. So they had the instruction they must fight the Jabbarin. But at the same time, they witnessed Allah Ta'ala's help in favor of the Bani Israel against who? Against Fir'aun. So they were fearful of Musa alayhi's army. They feared that they will be vanquished. So they tried to hatch a plan to secure some type of assistance against Musa alayhi salam. So they went to Balaam bin Ba'ura and they said, look here, this is the problem here. That these Musa alayhi salam and his people have been ordered to fight us. And you know for a fact that they decimated and they destroyed Fir'aun. What are we going to do? Right? So he should therefore pray to Allah Ta'ala that he may turn them back without fighting war against him. Balaam bin Ba'ura was known to be having the knowledge of Ismul Azam, the most gracious name of Allah. He used to pray with the help of this name and his prayers were generally granted. So he was known to be a pious person. He was known as Balaam bin Ba'ura and he knew the special name of Allah Ta'ala. And even today there are certain hadith that mention that Allah Ta'ala has a Ismul Azam, the greatest name of Allah Ta'ala. If you pray to Allah Ta'ala using this name, then your answer, your du'as will definitely be accepted, etc., etc. So here it was commonly known that he also knew the Ismul Azam. This person knew the Ismul Azam, and they said, yeah, make dua to Allah Ta'ala that these people don't fight us, right? Because we know we can't stand up to them. They are divinely assisted. Balaam said to them, with Musa being the prophet of Allah as the support of Allah's angels, and he could not pray against him. He said he knew the rank Musa held with Allah Ta'ala, and by praying against him, he will ruin himself both in this world and in the world to come. So he said, look here, Musa salam is the prophet of Allah Ta'ala. He knew because he was a pious person. And obviously, the prophets of Allah Ta'ala are mu'ayyad. They are assisted from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And they have come with a mission from Allah Ta'ala that they have to establish the word of Allah Ta'ala on this dunya. Allow kalimatullah. How can I pray against him? There's no way my prayers can be effective. You are Muslim. Can you, if you have iman, how will you pray against a more pious person, right? So this, if I pray against a prophet, that will be a cause of my destruction, right? So he said he cannot pray against him. He said that he knew the rank that Musa held with Allah Ta'ala. And that by praying against him, you will ruin himself in this world and in the world to come. Being insisted by the people, Balaam promised that he will first seek the consent of Allah Ta'ala for such a prayer. And in case Allah Ta'ala permitted him to pray against Musa, he shall do so. He said, look, okay, you insisting. I'm going to make dua to Allah Ta'ala and see for guidance in this matter. Am I allowed to pray in your favor? Am I allowed to pray against Musa alayhi salam? And whatever Allah Ta'ala inform me, that will be. He performed some act to seek Allah Ta'ala's consent, and a dream was prohibited by Allah Ta'ala from making such a prayer. He came to the people and informed them of this prohibition. So Allah Ta'ala explicitly prohibit. You cannot pray against the Prophet. It's even absurd to think you can pray against the Prophet, right? So you are not allowed. The Jabbarin presented him with a gift of considerable value. That's the first mistake he made. They gifted him something, and now, in Arabic they say, Al insanu abdul ihsani. What does it mean? Al insanu abdul ihsan. That when somebody does a favor to you, you are indebted to that person. You are indebted. So I came to the Mufti, the Molisa first. I gave him a big gift. And I said, now I need a fatwa, The thing here is it permissible, impermissible. Now, how are you going to disappoint that person after he gifted you something? So al insanu abdul ihsan. So you must be wary also of who's giving you gifts and for what reason they are giving you gifts. It mustn't be that you are compromised, you are captured as a result of accepting. People have nefarious intentions. They will have evil intentions that give this person this gift here, then he must do this for me. He must, right? So so that's why you as the alim, inshallah ta'ala alim, I'm not saying don't accept gifts. Accept gifts from pious people. Accept gifts from people don't have ulterior motives. Accept gifts from people that won't come tomorrow and say, yeah, this guy here, he's speaking at the council gate, but he don't know what I done for him. Yesterday I fixed his car, I done this for him, and I done this for him. Now they're coming and they're giving fatwas against us, etc., etc. So we must be circumspect, we must be careful about that, right? So the Jabbarin praise is even a gift of considerable value which accepted. So now he was, what you say, captured. Subsequent to this, to the gift, the insistence increased. Some reports said that his wife advised him to accept the gift and pray for them. So maybe his wife saw the gift, said, what a beautiful gift, we can do with this here. Just like take the gift, man, and we make dua for them. So, and pray, being blinded by the love of wealth and the wife, he started to pray against the Prophet Musa and his people. An unusual thing happened on this occasion. By the will of Allah Ta'ala, the words he wanted to utter against Musa alayhi salam is in his dua were uttered against the people of Jabbarin themselves. So Allah Ta'ala made it, instead of making dua against Musa, he made dua against the Jabbarin. They cried out and admonished him that he was invoking against himself. Balaam said that he was unable to utter a word against Musa alayhi salam, and they had no control of his utterances. Look, I'm trying to make dua in your favor against Musa, but nothing is coming out. Consequently, the Jabbarin met the fate of disaster from the heavenly punishment, and they were very punishment. Eventually, they were punished because they didn't want to come into the obedience of Musa alayhi salam. They did not want to come into the obedience of Allah Ta'ala. And the punishment of Balaam was that his tongue protruded from his mouth so much that it dangled on his chest. Allah Ta'ala made it such because he used his tongue in the disobedience of Allah Ta'ala. He was captured. His tongue would hang out of his mouth, right? Balaam having ruined his life both in this world and the world to come, and being deprived of all spiritual powers, he had made a suggestion to the people of Jabal, saying, there's only one way you can overcome the Israelites. Decorate your beautiful girls and send them to the Israelites, giving them instructions that they should not put on any resistance against whatever is done by the Israelites. So now what he wanted to do is an age-old trick. This is an age-old trick of the of mankind, that you want to capture somebody. You capture him either with wealth or you capture him with women. I don't know if you saw this. There was an article about Israel, about Iran, how the whole Mossad of Iran was captured by one woman. She was a Jew, but she acted to be a Shia, and she acted that she was interested in Shia spirituality. and she was like now a Shia. And like this, she infiltrated all the generals, and she was fraternizing and associating with the generals of the Iranian army. And she gave all that information to Mossad. That is why before the war even started in Iran, Israel took out all the top generals because of this one woman. And the moment the war started, this woman disappeared. The moment the war started, so this same thing, Angel, maybe it comes in a different guise now. And don't forget about Jeffrey Epstein's story. I know you know about that story. Why is America so indebted to Israel? Because all of these guys were captured by Jeffrey Epstein. He gave them, he plied them with women, underage girls, etc., etc. And as a result of that, they are here blackmailed that if they do anything against Israel, they'll be blackmailed. Same thing here. So it's an age old trick. Anyway, time is up. Mwana Nazim is there, 90s, Mishkat 2 with Mwana Nazim. For those following Mishkat 2, inshallah, you can join him. So this is a same story, the different guys, same story, the downfall of mankind, money and women, money and money, money and money. Allah Ta'ala save us. Subhanallah.